My moment. Here we are. Look at us. It's day number 3. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit of surge in the level of magnetism in the room today from the last couple days. Listen, I just want to say well done on your performance, your engagement, your energy levels. Okay, it's been an incredible last couple days, and you're doing phenomenal. Listen, yesterday was a big day that we packed into 2 hours, and I just want to say congratulations to everybody that took action and joined the Magnetic Megapreneur. This is a level right now of mentorship, a high level that goes to a brand new stage of coaching with Joseph, and there's so much more that goes into that. So I just want to say congratulations to our brand new Magnetic Megapreneurs, and to everybody, I hope you had a sensational night last night after we signed off. When we got done with VIP, the team and I, we kind of worked on a couple things and did some follow-up, and I was speaking with our program director, Megan, and we worked on a couple things, and when we finished, she said, okay, now get to bed. We have a big day tomorrow. Well, confession, I didn't get to bed. I actually stayed up quite late, and that's because there was UFC fights. Now, listen, I'm a huge fight fan, and last night's main event was a championship fight, so a top contender going up against the reigning champion. Now, this guy, the challenger's name, Khamzat Chimaev. He's from Chechnya, doesn't speak English well, but he has this level of certainty and conviction about him. Every time I watch him on an interview or a press conference, and they'll ask him about the challenge coming up and what the fight looks like and the adversity and the skill levels and the style matchup, and his answer's just about always the same. He'll shrug his shoulders and he'll say, doesn't matter, I don't care. I beat everybody. I beat everybody. Give me 2 guys in the ring, same time, I beat everybody. Now, this is what you have to understand about a championship fight, okay? It's very, very difficult to take a belt away from a reigning champion. Outside of the fight dynamics or the style matchup or skill levels, there's, let's say, unseen forces that heavily favor a champion retaining his title. But there was a moment before the fight started, right before, where the camera panned to the challenger, and this is what we saw. And it was at that moment when I said it's all over. Because what do you see in that face? There's a plan that this guy has with the level of certainty and confidence. He knows what he's about to do. And he might be a little crazy. You know what else is a little crazy to a lot of people? Doing things quite different than most people on the planet so you get unique and different results. Okay? Now, this is what you have to understand. A UFC fight is 5 5-minute rounds, a championship fight. Okay, that's 25 minutes if the fight goes the distance. It was 23 and a half minutes of total and complete absolute domination. There was nothing the champion could do because the challenger had a plan in round 1 and it worked. He got him to the ground and worked on him on the ground. And guess what he did in round 2, 3, 4, and 5? The exact same thing because it was working every time. You know what the challenger didn't do? Is switch up his game plan, make shifts, changes, and pivots based on what he was facing. And the result was quite obvious. And the only reason the champion didn't get knocked out or submitted was because he's quite well versed. It's one of the baddest men on the planet, so he knew how to protect himself. But there was nothing that he could do. I saw that face, and I said, this guy's about to dominate. I know you are too, and I want you to help me welcome back to the My Moment Challenge, the one and only Joseph McClendon III.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. First off, thank you. Welcome back. First off, congratulations, everybody. Everything that Brandon just said, you made it here. This is day number 3. And I want to I'm not going to take a lot of time because we're going to jump right into this. A couple things that Brandon said, and it's really important that you understand. What he said is we have really kind of given you a fire hose in terms of you being able to get all this stuff. In other words, we've been giving you this stuff these last couple of days, 2 hours at a time. And it's a lot of stuff. And everybody that comes up here and speaks and everybody that talks here, we have so much to give. And so we have to pare it down to just this little bit. We want to make sure and that you get the important pieces of it. And I'm going to dovetail on something that Brandon just said and what he just did there, that look, that face and everything. There's a couple things. If I was to say that the theme of what's going to get you to these what we said to do, which was in the very beginning. The number one thing was to decide and then to do and to dominate. All of those things is always going to come down to confidence. It's always going to come down to that level of assuredness. And you saw it on the face of that fighter that Brandon just showed you there. But here's what I want to say. Confidence is a skill, and all skills are learned. All skills are learned. You see, human babies, we come into this planet, pretty much the dumbest creatures in God's creatures. And what I mean by that is every other animal that comes into this world has some sort of instinct, and a lot of it. Insects, they don't ever meet their mother or their father. They know what to do. They know how to eat. They know what to do. Birds know how to fly south for the winter. Human beings, out of all of God's creatures, have the least amount of instinct in us. Human babies will die if you leave them alone. There's a lot of other animals that will as well, but human babies will. They don't have a lot. So everything that we have in life, we have learned. Everything. And we have skills. You have skills of riding a bicycle, driving a car, and all of those things. And so what I'm sharing with you today, and what I want to cram in, and what we all want to cram in these next few hours that we have together now, is that everything that you're going to do, that you're going to need to do, that look on that fighter's face didn't just happen overnight. These things don't happen overnight. The things that I've given you to do, your homework and the things to do, they're things that you're going to do over the next several days. And you probably already, and I want to ask as we go on, how many of you, if you did your homework, how many of you notice a difference in your level of, let's just say, fear? When you try and think it, how many of you are not as fearful, type of 1? How many of you started to notice a difference in what you did? Look at there. So many of you. And that's just one day, and you've only had just a few hours. Last thing I want to say before I jump into stuff is this. I said this to you guys last night. My deepest wish for you is if you don't have a family like mine, if you don't have a team like mine, borrow mine. Why? Because, like I said, my mentors taught me things, and I've had and still do have unbelievable mentors in my life, and I like to share with you the things that they've shared with me. I'd like to share those with you. Jim Rohn said, and I may have said this yesterday, that you will fall within 10%, you will operate within 10% up or down of the 5 people that you're around the most. Now, I always take it a little bit further, not just the people that you're around, your friends, your family, and so on and so forth, but the people that you allow to influence you. If you're around 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th. If you're around 5 people that are wealthy, you're going to be the 6th wealthiest person, and so on and so forth. And most of us don't have the opportunity to be around people that are at that level that we want to be at. And so today, first off, I want to, like I said, that's what we're here today. So first off, give yourselves a hand, pat yourselves on the back, all the stuff, because you're here right now. You're allowing that to happen right now. And I have the privilege of introducing you and putting you in the vicinity of my mentors, my friends, and the people that I love as well, so that you can have that as well. Now, having said that, I'm going to go over the homework that we had, and it falls right in place with what I just said. Everything is just designed to prep your brain. Why? It's think, feel, do, have. Preparation means you're doing something now so that later on when you need it, just like the fighter that Brandon said, he didn't just come to that place. He worked so hard over this time. He learned how to do these things, defend himself, how to strike, all of those things. And that was his preparation, so that when he does those 5-minute bouts in the ring, or however long he said, then he's not just showing up there guessing at stuff. And it happens, it comes through it. Type of 1, if this makes sense, it flows through him, but it's something that's already programmed in here. And so the homework that I gave you was really, really simple. Number 1 was just to write down what you are going to have. I didn't say what you want to have, what you're going to have. You write it down in the way that it's already done. Why? Because it puts it in your mind that it's already there. The second was I wanted you to refine that in the way that Michael Pope did, refine it in a way that it is more specific about what's going to happen and what you're going to do about it. And then the third thing that I had you do was last night just to do as simple as that. Feel bad, stand up, shake yourself out, put a smile on your face, squeeze your fist, and say yes. Why? Because all of those things in sequence are going to make that fear come up and now get rid of it. Type of 1, if that makes sense. And type of 1, I didn't even ask, how many of you did your homework? Perfect. So you're here right now. You're here with us. And I really mean this. I'm going to say this over and over again. It's kind of the theme of what we're going to be throughout the day, or the next few hours that we have together. And that is continue to stay in the game. And what that means is continue, whether it is us, we're honored to be this for you right now, and even beyond there. Make sure that you have something daily that allows you to remember your vision. Remember what I said yesterday? A vision is just a dream that is repeated over and over again with emotional intensity. Have something in your life that makes you go, oh yeah, my dreams, goals, and desires. Oh yeah, this is who I am. Oh yes, I can do this. Yes, I get to be something different than the average person that's going to spend their day scrolling on the phone or watching Netflix and eating cake. Type of one if that's what you want as well. Because then that's going to allow you, if you have that desire, that's going to allow you to keep putting yourself in that situation. You know, Michael said this, Michael Pope said this yesterday, and my colleague's going to say this over and over again today. Make sure, and I'll say this, that there is not one, whether it's a sport, whether it's business or whatever, and I've been in this for a long time, everybody has a coach. Think about it. You know, basketball players, football players, whatever, they all have a coach. Who is yours? You get to be your own, but who is yours? Make sure that you have somebody, or put yourself in the vicinity, such as you are right now, that there's somebody constantly reminding you of who you are, what you want, and what you can do. Type of one if that makes sense, okay? And this is the beginning of dominating. And speaking of dominating, I get to introduce you to somebody that I have the unbelievable amount of respect for. And this human being, his name is Dr. Stephen Crawford. And Stephen is, let's just say, the amount of people that he has helped reads like a who's who list of Fortune 500s and amazing people on the planet. He has held a position in our organization as one of our top trainers to assist people in doing that, influencing people themselves. And he's my dear friend. I have such a good time with this guy, and I want you to share in the, not just the wisdom, but the energy of this man as well. Help me welcome to the screens my dear friend, and soon to be your dear friend and mentor as well, Dr. Stephen Crawford. Stephen, are you there?
Yes, sir. The third. Listen, he is the visionary, he is the founder, he is the reason that we have the opportunity to understand at an entirely new level. You know, there's something unique about people who are tenacious and persistent to understand a specific background of a certain idea. And one of the things that we have all become students of, the longer we've worked with Joseph as our mentor, our friend, and being able to figure things out, we have become a front row student at the skill of dysfunctionality. There is nothing like a human being that will actually take something and make it actually become dysfunctional. Have you ever seen a kid just start to grab toys? They don't start playing with the way they're supposed to. The first thing they do is they put it in their mouth. They use it for things it was not intended to use for. And Dr. Joseph McClendon III has come to a place where he is literally pouring all the wisdom, all the things in the world of professional development, neuropsychology, and all these other things. And as he'll tell you himself, he takes the top elements that he spent a lifetime learning, and he's distilled them into some principles. And as we begin to talk about moving over the last few days, much of what you don't understand that has been happening to you is actually a well-designed process. Keeping things out of your mouth, not distracting you with unnecessary elements, and actually building things and processes in you. And so I know some of you say, listen, I'm going to get to that homework later. The reason he's called you out every single day is because you are only lying to yourself. We understand human nature because he spent a lifetime studying it. And so today, I don't want to talk just about my story. I want to speak to you right now because your story is more important than mine right now. And you need to understand, my challenge in life was not that I was bad. I was an underperformer. It was quite the opposite. I was actually pretty good. And this is what you need to understand, and write this down. Good is the birthplace for average. Write that down. Being good is the birthplace for average. So if you think you're talented, if you think you're good, if you think you shine in a crowd, great news. You are a candidate for mediocrity. And I want to challenge you, because this is not about me, although I got plenty of junk that I actually had to work through. in order to really listen and understand the mentorship and really to begin to build myself. I had to engage in processes that I thought were unnecessary. Homework assignments I thought were stupid and foolish. Yeah, that's for those other people. That's for those weak people. That's for those people that don't know any better. That's for those people with small minds. That's what I thought, because I'm good, I'm talented, I'm gifted. And guess what? Average people were hanging out with me, telling me how good I was. And people that were weak, people that were broken, people that were untalented, they began to leave me in the dust because they committed to processes that broke them through from bad to average and from average to good and from good to great. There is nothing that we talk about that not a single person on this call cannot do and execute with excellence. But you've got to be committed to the process. Don't be like me, who spent way too many years of my life being good and getting blown out by people that started out terrible, that are magnificent now. But it wasn't too late. I woke up. I said, listen. And I knew some of the people that were passing me up. And I knew their intelligence. I often compared it to a box of rocks, but I would insult the rocks. So I said, I don't want to do that. So, and they weren't that smart, and they weren't that gifted, and they weren't that talented. But they had something that I didn't have at the time. They had a relentless discipline that they were going to keep going no matter what. And what you need to understand is that transformation is going to happen for you. It is going to be because you are so committed to overcome yourself, your pride, and your unwillingness to do the foolish things. Joseph will ask you to do really stupid things on the natural. They'll seem like this is the most ridiculous. I'm standing up, I'm patting my own back, I'm shaking my own ass. What is wrong with me? What does this have to do with success? I would say, go ahead and be smart, be intelligent, be gifted, be talented, and watch everybody else on this call pass you up. Because I'm telling you, I'm willing to be humble and I'm willing to be dumb so I can learn the things I need to do. I need to do the things that other people are unwilling to do to get the things that other people don't have. And you've got to ask yourself the question. Carolyn came in and she told you about her basement. She told about that beautiful wall that I don't know who in the hell would let that child paint that thing on the wall, but it was an electric heart and a magnetic heart that her daughter painted on that wall, living in the basement, no income. And she asked you a question. What is your indecision costing you? To decide means to cut off, to burn the ships, to be unwilling to accept any other resolution or any other desire other than the one that's in your heart. What is your indecision costing you? And some of you say, I decided, but proof that you haven't decided is you haven't moved. If you're going to pray for rain, Coach Callahan says you better prepare for mud, because with rain comes the mud. When you pray for something, you expect something, you begin to prepare a life for that thing to take place. And some of you say you've made a decision, but you're still stuck in the same mindset with the same habits. You're still doing the same behaviors that you had before you say you made the decision. That's why I know you haven't made a decision yet. And then Michael Pope, one of the coolest names in the world, Michael Pope Jr. shows up. And he shows you what procrastination, hesitation, fear, failure, fear, success. He shows you what it looks like. He's trying to, you watch his son with all the intent of breaking through wood, but every time he gets close, he hesitates. And Michael just really lit it up and told you, you know what? You better wake up and you better break through. It's not just showing up. His son put on his outfit. He put on his belt. He showed up to class. He took off his shoes. He was ready to go. And he had all the intention of breaking through that, but he stopped. Why? Because hesitation is a thief of your dream. And let me ask you a question. Michael may not have said it this way, but this is what he probably wanted to say. How much is your hesitation and procrastination costing you? How much does going through the motions without fully doing the thing over and over thing, how much is that costing you? So you've heard from Carolyn. You've heard from Michael Pope Jr. You've heard from the master who has spent a lifetime studying it, who tries to make it so simple and so easy for you to execute that every one of you should have enough information to be able to move forward. But information doesn't do it for it, does it? There has to be a part of you that sets your heart on fire to dominate, to go to the next level. You've decided, now you're doing the thing, now it's time to dominate. And here's the thing. Most people think that in order to dominate, they just have to go out there and make something happen. No, 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 no. Domination is a commitment to a process. Write that down. Domination is a commitment to a process. When you dominate something, it's not about control. It's about the courage to keep showing up and doing the thing, no matter how foolish you look, no matter how ridiculous it seems, no matter how stupid you feel, you keep showing up doing the thing that is going to give you the result that you want. Domination means I will not live in default. It means I will not take back the pen and start writing the version of my life that I was living in at one point in time. It means I will wake up every day. I will train my nervous system because I was built for greatness and I absolutely am committed to it. See, most people think their problem is procrastination, but it's not. Your problem is procrastination, it's protection. You are so afraid that you'll look foolish, that you'll do something stupid, that you will fail. I've got good news for you. You're going to fail anyway. You might as well fail forward. Your brain has been locked into a pattern of survival and constantly avoiding the discomfort of what it looks like to fail. And if you're going to dominate, you're going to open yourself up and you are going to be empowered to say, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to fail big. I love Watson, the founder of IBM. He says, if you really want to succeed, you need to double your rate of failure. Don't tell me about your leaderboards until you tell me about your failure board. Don't tell me about all the powerful goals that you set and you haven't told me about the failure goals that you set. How many times will you fail this year? How many no's will you get this year? If you're living your life tiptoeing and pussyfooting around, hoping to only get yeses, you will not only you'll get the ultimate failure. And so my challenge to you is you got to be able to embrace it. You got to say rejection is my friend, because rejection stops me from working with the people that are not worth my time. Rejection is a deselection process to eliminate the responsibilities of people that I'm not meant to carry. Thank you, rejection. Thank you. You helped me because you align me with the people. You got me closer to the people that I am called to. And I don't know what your faith background, but I believe that we were created with a calling. There's something inside of that calls us to do the things that we're built and meant to do. And here's the thing. So if you keep wasting your time with people that just make you feel good, that make you feel comfortable, you know the people that make you feel the most comfortable? The ones that'll never say yes or never buy your program, never buy your product. They'll never move forward with you. But they love to hang around you because they know what? They know that you like them and you'll take it. You'll just sit there and you'll never ask them. You'll never make them uncomfortable because you're so committed to your comfort that you'll never step into your courage. And when you learn to embrace rejection, there's a process that we talk about in Joseph's programs and all of his programs that he teaches us. And here's the process. You set goals for yourself that are too hard for you to accomplish. It's called a challenge skills balance. You make sure that the goal you set for you is guaranteed failure. For some of you, that's freaking you out right now. You're like, what? You set goals for yourself that will absolutely guarantee failure. If you set goals for yourself that you can accomplish, you will have weak goals. You have goals that don't demand growth from you. You have goals that don't elevate you. You have goals that won't challenge you. If you commit to goals that are too hard for you to accomplish, it does something. It actually activates a part of your bloodstream that releases adrenaline into it. Oh, you get excited when there's a goal that you can't accomplish. It builds a formula within you in which that goal, that you get immediate feedback. That's the one thing about a goal too. Most of us, it's like we take tests and we look the other way. There's something about a too hard goal. You know right away whether you failed or not, whether you succeeded or failed. The reason most people don't like clarity, because they don't like failure. You build some clarity around those goals, it's amazing what can begin to happen. And that's the way domination is built. You're pushing your limits. You're not drowning. You're not coasting, but you're right on the edge of what you're capable of. You can see it. You can smell it. You can taste it. It becomes real. This is where your brain releases dopamine and norepinephrine and all types of endorphins. And these are the chemistry of confidence. This isn't about you faking it till you make it. It's about you actually training it until it is real. Confidence is not a personality. It is a psychological state. That's exactly what Joseph was just talking about. That's exactly what Brandon was talking about. You don't trip into confidence. It is literally a psychological state that triggers something in you, that empowers you, that gets you ready to go to the next level. And I want to tell you, I told you for years, I tried to coast on my talent. I tried to coast on my skill. I tried to push things, thinking that something would happen because I was entitled, because I was deserved, because when I was 5 years old, my granddad looked at me and says, "Boy, you'd make a good preacher." After I told him that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to do what he was doing. I saw his command of the audience. I saw his gifts. I saw his skills. I said, I want to do that. I want to see people move with my words. And so I was confused. And there's 3 distractions. I want you to write this down. So the first distraction that I was distracted by was the hope that someone would see me. Some of you, you've been sitting around hoping that you'll be identified, hoping that someone will give you a pass, someone will give you an opportunity. Please, 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 someone open that opportunity for me. You're hoping and you're praying that somehow a miracle will happen. I'm going to tell you something that might be slightly uncomfortable for you. Your miracle is on the other side of action. It is not sitting there waiting. I am all for meditation. I have to meditate a lot, because I got some big goals. I got to lock down and I got to meditate a lot. But here's the thing. If all you do is meditate and wait on a miracle to happen, waiting on yourself to be fed, you will starve to death. I love when Jim Rohn would say, you are going to raise a lot of skinny kids because you're waiting on someone else to deliver something for you that you are called and committed to deliver for yourself. And so we're distracted. Then we get distracted by glimpses of glory. I had early moments of success. This is why good breeds complacency. This is why good breeds mediocrity. Because I got recognized and I thought, oh, if I'm good enough, I'll be called. If I'm good enough, I'll be recognized. But you can only be so good if you're not training. To dominate, you must build your practice that will stop at nothing. You can have a good day, a bad day, an average day. You are still going to show up. Why? Because you are in a training process. And the final thing of distraction, this is a beautiful one. This is called the comparison trap. Some of you are looking right now. You can look at me. You can go ahead, you put your pen down, look at me. And you say, I am so much better than that Crawford guy. I don't know why Joseph has him sharing. I could do what he's doing. It'd be so easy for me. Oh my God, I would just get up there and I would yak, and people would be mesmerized by my words. Who does this guy think he is? See, what we do is we start comparing ourselves. I'm better than that person. I'm better than that person. And you can actually think that talent has something to do with your stage or your platform or where you're called to serve. Trust me, you will not get promoted until you become overqualified for your current position. And right now, your current position, if it's average, if it's mediocre, you will be stuck there until you become overqualified, because it is not about what you have. If you were given a platform, you would destroy it in one speech. If you were given a platform and opportunity, it would fall apart and it would crumble through your hands. You know why it would fall apart and crumble through your hands? Because you would be sitting there unprepared, because your opportunity isn't born out of what you get and receive. It's born out of who you are. And I got tired of making excuses for myself, blaming other people, looking for opportunity. I was distracted by those things. And I had to really become the place where I said, no more excuses. And right now, I want to bring somebody to the virtual stage that should take every excuse out of your lips. Why you can't grow, why you can't build a business, why you can't do it. And I've got right here my friend, the youngest person to ever grace a stage of the things that Joseph is putting on. We have Maya Carey. I want you to give it up for Maya.
My name is Maya Carey. I am the first ever youngest certified life coach. I currently have 6 clients. I talk on stages and I facilitate conversations with youth, young adults. So before I had my 6 clients and this confidence, I had this loud voice in my head. It would say, Maya, what makes you think you can do this? Maya, you're way too young. Maya, you do not have the past for this. You don't have enough certification. You don't have enough background for this. You're just a girl. You're still that girl. You're still struggling. What makes you think that you can help other people? What makes you think that you can actually help another person while you are still struggling? And it would repeat like a song in my head every single day, just this continuous song. And it limited me from continuing something that I found purpose out of, my life coaching, helping others, contributing. These excuses, like a song on repeat, every single day, every single minute. And not only with life coaching, with many other things, relationships, self-worth. And I kept on listening to it. And that song would play just over and over again until one day I questioned myself, because I'm a very curious person. I questioned, why am I questioning myself like this? Why am I listening to this song? And at some points, this song, these excuses would come to this one singular idea, this fear of rejection, and this fear of not being good enough. And this fear is true. We all have fear. We can never not have fear. We can just fear less. And I still do have fears. I'm not denying that. But what I don't have anymore are these excuses. Because the minute I honored that I have fear, woo, I have fear. Oh my gosh, whoa, I'm human. The minute I honored that and saw that that was true, I got to let go of these excuses. Because what is not true is your bullshit excuses. That is not true. The fear is your excuses. So instead of constantly listening to that excuse song that I know we all have, I let go, I forgave, and I reframed. Because once you let go of something, we are finding something else to pick up, to fill that. So instead, I celebrated and I relived the victories of my past. And I dreamed and looked at for the outcomes of my future. And with those two, reliving the victories of the past and dreaming of the outcomes of the future, those two, instead of excuses, when I got scared, those two rerouted my whole trajectory of my life coaching business. And so now I'm 18 years old. I have 6 clients, and I am in full belief of myself. My question is to you, what are your excuses? What are the lies you are telling yourself? What are you protecting yourself from? And at 18, if I could bust my bullshit excuses, what is stopping you from standing on your business?
Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Woo!
Yeah.
Damn.
Come on. Yes. I'm telling you, it is not about your skill set. It's not about your talent. It's not about your age. And it's not, quoting Maya, about your bullshit excuses. You know what it's about? Your decision, your doing, and you committing to a process that will dominate. Now, listen. Our command of time doesn't give us the time. As Joseph mentioned already, we don't have the time to really dig in. But I want to take a moment because I really think this is important for some of you. I would like to take you through a process, to walk you through a process that helps unlock what Joseph's helped us unlock, to be able to actually unwind and unlock things that have been dominating and that have been in our lives. And so here's what I want to do. You are not your mind. And let me say that again. There's a difference between the brain and the mind. Your mind is your perceptual awareness or understanding of all detected information. I'm going to say that again. Your mind is the perceptual awareness of all detected information. That means all the room, in the room you're in, all the information right there is available to you, and your mind is aware of everything within your field. But this is not just true of your current situation, is it? When you look into your past, every single moment that you've lived, your mind has been existing with you, collecting data. So when you sit there and you say, I can't do something, that's not coming from nowhere. There's a data point somewhere that was in your field of awareness that fed that idea to you. And sometimes the very things that have caused us pain and tragedy and hurt and brokenness, you believe that those things are the reasons and excuse that will stop you from dominating. And what I want to do is I want to take a moment to sit with every moment that you've ever lived in, every data point that you've ever collected. And I want to invite you to collect it all with the belief that the content of your life is the curriculum for your evolution. That everything that has been happened to you, that has been handed to you, that is when you've been mistrusted and betrayed and violated, all that stuff is sitting with you right now as a data point. But it is not a data point to hinder you. It is a data point to launch you. This is the fuel. And so we're just going to take a few moments to sit with ourselves, to visit with our past selves, to sit with the tragedies, the triumphs, the victories, the deaths, the alienations, the betrayals. I want you to sit with this for a moment, understanding that you are not your mind. You are not the information provided. You are the decider and the doer and the dominator who is going to take that information and move yourself into the future. So if you have space and if you're not driving, I want you to put your feet and ground them on the floor. We're going to take a couple deep breaths and we're going to start a song. And what we want you to do is breathe in, and I want you to imagine your life. And I'll walk you through a couple of things as the song is playing. But I want you, if you can, and you're not driving, please close your eyes. Right. Breathe in. Breathe out. I want you to invite every part of you from all over the world. Everything in your past, everything in your field of awareness, I want you to bring it out. And I want you to collect it. Every victory, every triumph, every failure. I want you to go deeper. I want you to consider that everything in your life that has happened to now, no matter how good or how bad, it's been done for your benefit. It's been placed in your lap. And your soul signature is the only one that can put it to work.
Imagine if the challenge that has tested you over and over again is deeply woven into the fabric of your soul's purpose. The lessons you've repeated, the patterns that seemed unbreakable. What if they're all a part of your divine assignment? When you face your greatest challenges with curiosity and courage, you alchemize them into wisdom, strength, and power. Your greatest pain can become the very path that leads you to liberation. When you embrace your divine assignment, you stop seeing your greatest challenges as something to escape. You start seeing them as something to master. When you do this, you don't just transform your life. You create ripples that transform the world around you. Your pain has a purpose. Dig deeper.
And if you can lower the music, I appreciate mention about the sound, so I will change my audio a little bit to be able to probably be a little bit easier to hear me. But I want to challenge you on something. Every moment of your life has brought you to this place in this time. And we consider it an honor that you made the decision to spend these last 3 days with us. But we wouldn't be doing our jobs and we wouldn't be serving you in the right way if we did not challenge you to stop making excuses. You are not living a random life. You are living a pattern that can be broken if you will commit to decide. If you would be courageous enough to do. And as Joseph teaches us, doing isn't just an action, it is an activity. And if you would allow all of what seems to be your flaws and your weaknesses and your shortcomings and your tragedies, and you would allow that all in and be equipped to be empowered to launch forward in your life, you think your pain is to stop you, but it is really to build you. You've already decided. You've already done. And now it's time to dominate. You got to dominate your schedule. You've got to dominate, as Maya mentioned, your inner dialogue. You've got to dominate over your excuses. And if you're serious about becoming who you were designed to become, to make the impact that you're going to make, you've got to be trained into it. Stop trying to do it. You've been trying long enough.
It is time to train. I invited training into my life because talent wasn't enough. And as I trained, as I listened, as I was mentored, things began to shift. And what Joseph and all of his inner circle has put together is represented in all of our lives now. He's not just a mentor, he's also a mirror. He shows you who you are, but also who you can become. And he teaches us how to stop negotiating with fear. And that's why proximity matters, being connected to the right community. And so I know that we want to invite you as a deeper part of our community. And I know many of you have already joined and you're part of the Magnetic Megapreneur program, that you're going to join us for this moment where we can just be a cohort in a community and have some accountability to move us forward. But I want to make sure that we just make a powerful invite. So I'm going to invite my favorite sisters, Kay and Shai, back to the stage so we can invite you to really, really do something, because it's not just about the content. There is incredible content that Joseph spent a lifetime building and shaping in order to move you forward. It is a community, but it's not just a community. The community helps activate you to realize how gritty you can be and how much you can move. And it gives you hope, because you can look at somebody like Maya and say, listen, when she was 16, she started coaching, and I've been waiting 5 years for a right certification to do it. No, if a 15, 16-year-old can do it, I can do it. Now she's 18 and she's got a business that's thriving. But it's also about another component, and that is the live accountability, where we get together and we have to build it together. And so I want to invite Kay and Shai back to the stage, because I really believe that we can create something special, because we're done making excuses. We have decided, we're committed to doing, and now it's time to dominate, baby. Let's go.
Before we do, everybody, just give some praise to Maya, to Dr. Crawford. How incredible. Will you ever think of courage the same? Will you ever think of how you are going to make your decisions the same? Is anything going to be the same after these last 3 days? I know the answer to that, but we're going to keep it rolling here. And before we do anything else, I just want you to squeeze a fist, bring it down, and say yes. I want you to take the other hand, lean over, pat yourself on the back. I want you to put in the chat, I'm doing this, baby. And for the first time for day number 3, please help me welcome back to the My Moment Challenge. It's Kay and Shai, everybody.
Okay, we are bringing it up. My goodness, Stephen, Maya, you guys. Incredible way to bring it forward, to bust through hesitation, to bring forward all of your emotion, to bring forward all of that knowledge. You just dropped it on us there, friends. Thank you so much for such an incredible teaching.
So many notes, so many goosebumps, so much power. You have so much potential. You have so much to give. And being able to decide and then do is nothing if you don't have the courage to dominate, right? This is what Stephen was telling us. This isn't about control. It's about that accountability and showing up and that discipline, because through the discipline equals freedom. And so that's why we're all pushing you over these last 3 days, because it's not about conceptually understanding. It's about taking the action, moving forward, gaining that clarity. Oh my gosh. On fire. In fact, I want to bring Stephen up with us if we can. Stephen, thank you for giving us that. Thank you for talking a little bit about the power of what happens when we make that commitment, when we engage in a community, and when we find the content that really makes a difference for us. And we've really seen that in the Magnetic Megapreneur program and with their graduates. How does having the support system around you help someone dominate in a way that's so much more powerful than being on their own?
All right. This may not be what you're ready for, but I have to make a confession, and I've got to apologize. I have to make a confession. I went through the program and I watched the videos and I said, oh, this is good content. And so I could use this, I could teach this. And so when I went through it as if I wanted to teach it, because I'm a speaker. I love teaching good content. And I was asked to coach somebody that was doing a testimony for Joseph, who went through the same program I went through, the Magnetic Megapreneur program, and had secured over $300,000 in business in less than 6 months. And I said, hold on. Explain that to me again. Hold on. We went through the same program. We watched the same videos. We had the same accountability group, but my filter was that, oh, this will be good to teach because I was comfortable enough. But this person says, no, I'm going to let this content not just go in me, but through me. And they showed up. And you know how I say I cheat and I kind of do the assignments. I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. No, this person, and I'm sitting here coaching this person on doing their testimony. And I'm like, I have failed. And I had to start the program over again because the power of it was, all I had was, I treated like I treated every other program. And I'm sorry, this is confession time. This was not expected. This is just like, my penance, I failed because I went through the program, but the program didn't go through me.
Oh, man.
And so it was only when I literally said, you know what? I have no excuses because this person was in a country, in a city that is less than, 1.4 million people in their biggest city, right? We have no excuses. And so I just said, all right, this is, I suck. Is what I had to honor the fact that I made some poor decisions with my time because I did it. But once I understood what was at stake, once I understood what was possible, and this is where they say sometimes the mentee teaches the mentor. This person taught me something that actually says, no, I need to slow this way down and actually let the message and the programming go through me. I know someone said you can do the program really fast or do this. Listen, your dream is worth more than speed. Sometimes fast is slow. And so what I would say in response to that is that I know anyone, not about talent, not about skill, nothing that Joseph teaches us. He says it's not because he's so cute and he's so funny. People argue he's both of those things, but that's not the reason for the success. The success is layered in the fact that if you just do it, doesn't matter your talent, doesn't matter your skill, you will see a result that is beyond anything you can imagine.
That is right. Process orientation, right? This is all inside Joseph's values. We're embracing a proven process. And the Magnetic Megapreneur course is for you if you want to be unbelievably wealthy. And that's what Joseph defines as being happy, healthy, and financially abundant. So, Stephen, I love this story, right? You have somebody who's giving a testimonial and you're saying, wow, I think I could get more out of that program. So you go, did you end up going back through it and have any other results?
Before I was done helping that person, I think that night I started over. I had to start over that night and break through things that I didn't even recognize because I went, and again, sometimes speed is your friend. Speed on making decisions is your friend. Let me say that. Speed on making decisions, deciding is your friend. But speed on allowing this. So I went through it right away. So right from the beginning. And I didn't have the advantage of having live accountability at that time because the first time I went through it, the accountability was live, but I waited. I waited till that moment was over. And so I didn't have the live accountability. And so, but I was still able to see massive movement and massive changes. And listen, it was so funny because people start coming to me and say, Stephen, I'm having trouble with this. And I know they were people that were in that program. I said, have you done the thing? Have you followed the process? Have you done it? And when that really came alive, we have seen dozens and dozens of people make massive moves, grow massive business, and experience incredible change, not only in their lives, their relationships, their businesses, and things have just completely taken off. It's unbelievable. It's so exciting to watch people who actually do the stuff. A lot of programs teach you how to watch the videos. Not a lot of people who teaches you how to do the work.
All right, one more thing before we just give a quick refresh of what is available inside of the Magnetic Megapreneur. Because remember, classes start in 8 days. So we want to make sure that everyone who even feels that inclining and that calling gets the courage and joins this cohort. But Stephen, you said good is the birthplace of average. Ooh, come on. Because most people are probably in a Zoom like this because they are good. You're naturally good at speaking, at sharing, at helping, at serving. And so we allow ourselves to rest on that good. I've done it. Absolutely. Right? Stephen, you said,
100%.
I went through the program, but the program didn't go through me. That's what good people do, right? Because they're already pretty good. So how is that a trap for people before we give a quick refresh?
And so, literally, and it's exactly what you're saying, Shyla. If we allow ourselves to rest on good, it creates a level of entitlement. It steals our joy. It steals our tenacity. If you're not, it causes us not to set goals big enough to fail. And if you're not setting goals big enough to fail, you're cheating yourself. And this is not just about, this isn't just setting goals. And this is your biology at work. This is your biology at work. Your biology does not activate the things in you that are needed to break through a goal. Listen, whenever someone breaks a world record, it's never when they're out for a morning run. It's when they're faced with an environment of challenge, and there are people that if they do not compete with them will roast their ass and just leave them in the dust. And so the world records are broken because people are put in a state psychologically and physically in an environment that challenges them to break through. And so if you're just good, you'll be entitled, expecting everybody to get a participation trophy. You'll be standing on a stage by yourself, waiting on an award because you're just good. But greatness is brought into us and flown through us, is grown in us because we put ourselves in an environment that we set goals that are big enough to fail.
Oh man, Stephen, you've got me fired up. Let's talk about that environment that you can find yourself in to help you take it to the next level. Now, let's just go really quick through some of the details because we've got Joseph coming back out for your final session here at the My Moment Challenge. Y'all, it has all built up to tonight, and you are not going to want to miss the incredible exercise that's coming for you later on. So just really quick, let's get through some of what's here for the Magnetic Megapreneur program. Look, if you are looking to reprogram your patterns for consistent performance or replace your scarcity patterns, maybe you're looking to master the mechanics of magnetism, or you're looking to create a new magnetic success identity. Maybe you need an execution plan, or you're looking to master your emotional mechanics because our emotions can get a little out of control sometimes. And maybe you're looking to find that environment, again, like Stephen said, that has the activity, the assignments, the community to help foster real results for you, like we've seen for many of our students who have gone through the program. And I love seeing our alumni here in the comments. Y'all are just chomping at the bit to get back in. Yes, once you join, you get access to cohorts in the future that we also bring forward. So let's just take a look really quick at our next slide with some details here, Shy, about what this program entails.
Well, you get Joseph teaching you directly the Magnetic Megapreneur process over an 8-week course. Last night in the VIP session, we had several questions about what this looks like. Look, is there time to figure out what it is that you want? Is there a process that allows you to expand on on the clarity that you're gaining through the vision that you're casting? What if I'm not a business owner but is this program for me? The answer to all of those is a resounding yes. You get space, you get place, you get clarity, you get permission, and you get the tools that serve you, whether you have a job, you're in a business, or you want to start a business, because what you're seeing here applies to all of those areas. That lifetime access, meaning every time we do this about twice a year, you get to jump back in and refresh yourself. You don't go through the program, you let the program go through you. You get those 8 core modules over 8 weeks, which includes 24 videos teaching directly from Joseph, from his house. You join him in his library, you join him in the loft, you join him in the lobby, right? Like, you get to see the behind the scenes of Joseph in his house as he's teaching you directly these methods. Then you get the live coaching, the live accountability, those success track Zooms alongside your sisters here, as well as all of our Megapreneur new students and alumni helping support you. Because remember, like Stephen told us, you need the content, you need the commitment, and you need the community. And that's the beautiful magic part of this formula. You also get to start learning those neuroencoding methods. This is that program where Physician Heal Thyself. This is the program where you install the neuroencoding systems and the mental software for yourself to dominate whatever it is, right? Remember, Megapreneur means you're at the top 3 to 5% in anything that you do, including your health, including your relationships, including your mission, including your business. And then you get that global community, including a Facebook community that is so much fun and that never goes away. So these are all parts of what is included and that you have access to as soon as you start your Megapreneur journey.
All right, so just to remember, we have that challenge special for you. You can join this program right now for just $997. Come join us, come be a part of this program. We've got this for you for under $1,000. We are here to come alongside you over the course of 8 weeks. Joseph is here for you. Now, this is a challenge special for everyone who's here for the My Moment Challenge. But remember, bold action bonus, full pay right now for just $897. Now, this particular offer, I think, goes away in 24 hours from now. So really, this is the best price you can get Megapreneur at. Saw someone in the comments yesterday say, I got it for $1,997. Yes, this is the lowest that we've ever offered this program because we know we want to help you achieve the life of your dreams. So go ahead and get into this program, enroll now, scan this QR code. We'll put the link in the comments for you. We have payment plans available because we want you to succeed. We want to come alongside you. We're starting, like Shyla said, in just 8 days. That's right. We begin this cohort in just 8 short days. Joseph teaches you inside videos. Shyla and I hold you accountable. You come alongside a community of excellent people into an environment where you can break a world freaking record because you have other people who are running alongside you looking to do the same. So come join us in Magnetic Megapreneur. We can't wait to have you. We cannot wait to pour into you. But that's not all that's happening here this evening on our very final night of the My Moment Challenge.
Yes, we still have more moments to seize. And before we show you a quick clip straight from the program, we're going to give you just a less than 2 minutes right from Magnetic Megapreneur. You'll get a taste of some of the videos and the teachings coming up. But we want to just share with you that so many people have gone through this program, literally have seen amazing results. Again, not just going through the program, but allowing the program to go through them, having the courage to step up and do the things, write down the homework, do the prescribed materials, right? And conceptually understanding isn't the same as embedding it into your system. And that's what we get to do together in this 8-week journey alongside you. We get to say, hey, did you practice for an hour? It's not enough to know it once, right? If someone can't say, as I think, so I feel, as I feel, so I do, as I do, so I have, that's not embedded as a belief in your nervous system yet. And that's not a criticism, that's a fact. That's what happens when you don't repeat the process with significant emotional events happening. Now, those are the 2 ways we learn, and those are 2 things that you'll learn inside of the Magnetic Megapreneur program. But let's show you a little bit more about what you learn. Let's just hear straight from Joseph inside the Magnetic Megapreneur program so you can see precisely the kinds of things you'll have access to as you start your Megapreneur journey.
Things. Because I did the exercises in the book, but I added a little extra thing which set me on this path. And things started to happen for me very, very quickly. Very quickly. It was amazing. And then I just started doing that and applying it, and I perfected it for you now. I've always said this. If you want what you want sooner rather than later, then let's study those people that do and have gotten the results that you want. Something called modeling. And so if you look at, we've all known people that the ball seems to bounce in their favor. They seem to get things quicker, easier, faster than others. They seem to not necessarily have to work as hard as the rest of us. Those are called megapreneurs. And I submit to you that it's not luck, that it's not just that they were born at the right time or under the right sign or anything like that. It's something they are unconsciously, sometimes consciously, doing, and they repeat that over and over again. And so this is all about going further, faster. And then lastly, it's something I call creality. Creality is you create your own reality. Whatever you can imagine, whatever you want it to be, you can make it happen. We live in a day and age where technology makes almost anything possible. It's amazing. So you are going to
All right,
create
let's
your
bring
own
that
reality.
down. Let's pull it out. I know everyone's already getting excited. They're taking their notes. They're like, come on, let us keep going. Joseph's teachings are so good. None of the videos are more than 30 minutes, so you can chunk them down. You can stay on your committed path, and you can create your creality one step at a time in easy to understand exercises and proven processes that allow you to become a magnetic megapreneur. So, Joseph, I think we're ready to bring you back out. Before we fully give you the reins, though, what do you want to say to everyone about Magnetic Megapreneur and the opportunity that's ahead of them right now?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say we have to have a conversation because I don't think I agreed to a price this low. I don't think, yeah.
You're right, you didn't.
But here's what I want to say, because I did the math. I was sitting down and I was going, okay, first off, I'm so grateful that I have you, Kay and Shai, Stephen, Maya, everybody that is on my team, that is part of my family, because I get to share with you, or share you with everybody that's here. And that's the thing that warms my heart the most. I'll tell you more about that when I come back. But I did the math. Now, everybody here, I want you to type a 1 if you go to Starbucks. Just now, be honest. Type a 1 if you go to Starbucks. Yeah. There's a Starbucks on every single corner in every single city. They're all over the place. Now, the average person spends at least $5 at Starbucks, at least. I used to call it $5, not Starbucks, $5, at least $5. If you do the math, if you spend $5 a day at Starbucks, it comes out to $1,825 a year. $1,825 a year. So for half that amount, you get to have something that all but guarantees your wealthiness. And so if you're making excuses, oh, there's too much money, or I don't have time to start, well, you can start when you want. And it goes over and over again. It's lifetime access to it. And this is, I'm just going to say, my best work. And it is the way that I get to be, not just be in your life and share with you things that to do, not just to know, not just to have knowledge, because I have this saying, and the saying is, it is process over knowledge. See, like Stephen said earlier, he said, he had all the knowledge, and he did. He's one of the most brilliant people I know, certainly one of the most brilliant presenters that I know, and has helped so many people. And I hope he touched something inside. I don't know. I know he did. I know he probably pissed some of you off and hurt your feelings and made those, and that's great, because now you have that to remember. But the truth of the matter is, doing the process versus just knowing something is what makes the results. So I joke around about it. I want you to be a part of this family. Don't let it stop now. And so you better to turn me loose, Kay and Shai, because I've got so much I got to share.
They're all yours, Joseph.
All right, fabulous. Well, first off, everybody, give a hand to Maya and Stephen. That was just ridiculous. Maya, if you're still out there, I'm going to say the same thing I said to Michael, and I say this to Stephen all the time. That was just freaking ridiculous, okay? Just ridiculous. And everybody that's listening, and I mean this from my heart, I want you to use these people like $3 rented mules. And I mean everybody. That's Kay and Shai, that's Stephen, and there's somebody, by the way, that's not here, and that is Vinu Keller. She's another one of our trainers, but I think she's vacationing somewhere. But I want you to recognize that we are here as examples of what's possible. We don't use ourselves as some shining examples of the way that things should be. We all have had, we all started from somewhere, but we're all here to serve. And whether as noble as that sounds or whatever, I want you to have that as well. And if I have given you, anybody here, the impression that I got all the answers and that I know everything and I got no problems and everything is just great in my life and that I know it all, I apologize, because it's not true. I'm going to encourage everybody here to continue doing what you're doing right here now, and that is to be a forever student, always learning, always learning. And I learned so much. Look, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pull back the curtain here just a little bit, because even what I'm doing here, now look at me for a second. Everything that you've ever touched, tasted, smelled, and experienced is in your unconscious mind. It's there. It's there. And the challenge is with most of us, we don't have immediate access to it. And when we remember something, something causes us to remember something, or something impacts us and we go, oh, that is. I want you to look at it like this. Your conscious mind are the things that you're conscious of, the thing that you're aware of right now. Your unconscious mind, it's back there. It's like this hard drive in your brain. So when you remember, you connect your conscious mind to your unconscious mind. To dismember means to take apart. To remember means to take apart. And the reason I share that with you is I'm sitting here and I was listening to Stephen, and it's the same thing that happened with Michael. It's the same thing that happens with Kay and Shai. Is that when I hear this stuff, and Stephen said it, and he said it a bunch of times. Well, Joseph teaches this, and Joseph teaches that, and Joseph does that. But I got to be honest with you. Sometimes I don't remember what I told him. Carolyn did it the other day. Sometimes I don't remember what I told him. And when I remember it because they said something, I go, oh yeah, I remember that. They said that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a forever student here, even right now. So I'm going to show you something. While everybody's talking, I didn't want to leave here. I was so glued to this that this is behind the scenes. This is me. You see all those yellow notes? That's notes that I was taking from those freaks that were just talking to you. That's notes that I'm taking. That's what's sitting in front of me right now, because I want to have this stuff for later so that I can do stuff with it. And it reminds me of stuff as well. And so I want to share that with you because I want you to take on that behavior, to be a forever student, to always put yourself in the vicinity of people and that have something to offer you that's going to help you go further faster so that you can help other people as well. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're willing to do that, to take that step, and again, you know, I'm going to unabashedly and unashamedly say this to you. Join us. You know, be part of our family. What else are you going to do? Go to Starbucks and drink another cup of coffee every day? Yeah, half the people out there in the world are going to do that. This is your step forward. So having said that, here's where I want to start today. Remember something that Stephen said, and this is the crux of everything. Domination. Domination is the commitment to the process, to doing the process. As silly as and as simple as the processes are, and I go out of my way to painstakingly make it so silly, so simple that anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I was listening to Maya, who is the youngest neuroencoding specialist, the youngest. And she's got clients and she's just doing this. An 18-year-old girl being a life coach. What do you know at 18 years old? You know, at 18 years old, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And here's this young lady, and all she has done is I'm watching her, listening to her saying that when she said, you know, I decided I did this. All she was doing the exercises, doing the process. It's physician, heal thyself first. And that's what she did. And that's what you will do, ladies and gentlemen. This is not designed just to give you more information. It is designed so that you take this stuff and you use it on yourself and you get the results and you be the example for other people as well. Give me a thumbs up or type a 1 if you are down to making that happen, not just for you, but for the people that you love and the people that are around you. So having said that, I want to say a couple things. I want to ask you a couple questions, and these are rhetorical questions at the moment, meaning I don't need an answer for them right now, but to make you think about it. Number 1, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite color? I want you to write down, what is my favorite color? Some of you already know, but whatever, okay? Second thing I want you to write down is, who or what made me the way that I am? Who or what made me the way that I am? Third question I want you to write down is, what kind of person do I need to be to get what I want? Write those things down, because when later on, I'm going to give you some homework to look at me for a second, to remember, and you're going to answer those questions. All right. Now, remember earlier I said that when babies are born, they're pretty dumb. They really are. You know, babies will, you know, like Stephen said, they'll put stuff in their mouth, they'll do all kinds of stuff. They're not that bright. And everything that you have, everything that you do, everything that you know how to do, you learned. And so there is something that babies have that is critical for you to dominate. And I'm going to share with you what that have, because you still have it inside of you, but most of us have dismembered ourselves from it. But I'm going to answer those questions that I asked you first. And I want you to follow along with me, because my methodology, it's unorthodox, but so is writing something down and saying it over and over again. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do, so I happen. And writing something down and looking at it again. Or feeling bad and standing up and shaking yourself out. That's silly stuff, but it produces results. it produces results. And it's process. It is process. And remember, committing to that process, to doing it no matter what, that's what produces the results. Through time, in a short amount of time, you become a different person. And when you have a group of people, you have people around you they're influencing, that are impacting you as well, then that makes all the difference in the world. Last thing before I go on, I want you to write this down. I'm going to give you the definition first. And that is, the word is impact. Impact. Write it down. Impact. And all in its simplest form is, impact is any stimulus that causes a shift in your awareness and your belief that makes you behave differently. Impact is any shift in your awareness, is any stimulus, whether you see it, hear it, feel it, whatever, anything that stimulates you, that comes in, that stimulates your awareness and changes your belief so that you do something differently. Somebody impacted you. I know Stephen impacted you. He's he's a master at that. An absolute master. And that's what and he, by the way, just so you know, this is the guy who teaches you how to do that within the Institute here. That's why he's there. But whatever has happened in your life, something has impacted you to make you go, oh, well, that's the way that I'm gonna do. Now, we get impacted by what Kay and Shai said over and over again, significant emotional event. That's how we learn the quickest. Whenever there's an intense amount of pain or an intense amount of pleasure, we tend to remember those things deeper, longer, faster than the other things. I guarantee you, you went through school and you learned a whole bunch of stuff that you'll never remember, that you'll never use again unless something reminds you to do it. But the things that stuck with you the most are the things that something made you really feel good in that moment, or something made you feel really, really bad in that moment, and your brain went, never do that again. The anecdote I like to use is, you stuck your hand in fire when you were a baby, or you touched the hot stove. That was an intense amount of pain. That didn't feel good. Yes, it was physical pain, but your brain went, wait, let me learn for the rest of my freaking life to don't touch fire. That's how quickly we learn. And so when we say significant emotional events, that's what we create within our community here as well, so that you have emotional events and something to do so it sticks with you deep inside. And one of the things that I wanted to say is, with all that Stephen said, all that Maya said, all that Kay and Shai have said, and all that Michael have said, and all that I've said, it's process that makes it happen. So how do we get ourselves to do that? I wrote something down. Let me read one of my notes, because Stephen said it at the end. He said, stop, and so did Maya, stop making excuses, okay? And when I hear that, when people say stop doing something, I always add to it, okay? If I stop doing that, I got to replace it with something. So I want you to write these words down. I hope you wrote them down. Stop making excuses and start making miracles. Start making miracles. What are miracles? Miracles are things that maybe they're unexplained, but they happen out of nowhere sometimes. They just sort of just happen. Well, I don't think they happen. You make them. Miracles are manufactured. They're manufactured. So start doing that. How do we do that? Let me tell you a real quick story. Let me answer the second question first. The second question was, who or what made you the way that you are right now? Good, bad, indifferent, who or what did that? And so I'll tell you a real quick story, true story. Now, most of you know I'm older than there's dirt that's younger than me, okay? And I grew up in the 60s. And in the 60s, to be specific, to be precise, in 1963, there was a phenomenon that happened in the US. And the phenomenon was called this musical group called the Beatles. Type of one if you were around when the Beatles came out, okay? Came out. And I know Kay and Shai, you're going like that. You were still pooping yellow back then if you were even around in the 60s, okay? I remember when I saw the show on the Ed Sullivan Show when they came out. It was just like the biggest phenomenal thing in the world. And as a kid, all of us kids were just amazed by them. And, people were growing their hair long and people were dressing like them. And one of the things that for some reason, I locked onto was they had these cool boots. They were like pointed-toed boots they called them Beatle boots. They had zippers on the side and they were like just really cool. And I asked my parents, I go, and all the kids in school were getting Beetle boots and all this stuff and everything. But we didn't have a lot of money. And I asked my parents, can I get some Beetle boots? And they said, absolutely not. We don't have the money for that. And they're stupid looking anyway. That was my parents, okay? But I wanted them. And I was, you know how when you're a kid, you're like pissed off. Why can't I have that? And all the other kids have it and everything. Now, I grew up in Hawaii. I was 9 years old, okay? And my dad would take us every Sunday to the beach. It was actually Waikiki Beach. And he'd take us to the beach. My dad was a chess player. And if you've ever been to Hawaii, you know that they have chess, these cement chess tables around. And my dad, and these were the days where you could take your kids and just turn them loose, yeah? So my dad would take me and my sisters and turn us loose on the beach. And we'd play around while he played chess for hours and hours. And so I was sitting there all pissed off. Now, I will say this. In the 60s, I had a bit of an identity crisis. And the identity crisis was I grew up in an environment that was probably, I'm going to say, 60% Asian and Hawaiian, and maybe 30%, I'm going to say 35% white. And the rest of us, maybe this much of us, had black skin, black or brown skin. And so I had an identity crisis. I didn't look like the Beatles. I couldn't grow my hair like the Beatles. And now my freaking parents won't even buy me Beatle boots so I could cling to something that would be Beatleish. And so I didn't know who I was. And I'm intellectualizing this now, but at the day I didn't know. And so and part of the thing was I didn't see anybody that looked like me, that was older. So I couldn't imagine how I was going to be. And I remember those days going, you know, I don't fit in. And so we're at the beach, and my sisters and I are playing around in the sand, and there's like this retainer wall that's about this high, about this high, okay? And the sidewalk is here where all the chess players are and everything. And then on the other side is the beach, and we're playing around in the beach. And all of a sudden, I look up, and here comes this guy. He was probably maybe in his mid to late 20s. Now, just so you know, my father was in the Air Force. That's how he wound up over there. And there were a lot of servicemen over there, young GIs that were in the Air Force, or they had an Army base and they had a Navy base, Pearl Harbor. And so I looked up, and here comes this guy. And he was like nobody I'd ever seen. I'd never seen anybody like this guy. And he was African American, he was black, and he was sharp looking. And he came along, and he stopped, and he stopped, and my sister and I are looking, and he stops, and I looked at him, and I was just in amazement. I'd never seen anything like this guy before. And he was dressed in all gray, from head to toe, gray. And he put his foot up on the retainer wall to do something like, you know, zip up his gray Beetle boots. And they were amazing looking. And I was like, unbelievable. And now I'm intellectualizing this now, because at the time I was looking, I'd never seen anything like this. And I remember him looking at me, and I must have been like this, and he went like this. He went like that to me. And then he went about his way. And I remember thinking, that was amazing. Now understand this, I never thought about it again. I didn't go home and go, I'm going to be like that guy. I never thought about that guy again. And that's the only interaction I ever had with that individual at all. Fast forward. When I was about 27 years old, I'd earned some money, and I decided I was going to go on the very first vacation of my life. And so I'd never gone back to Hawaii, because we had now, it was only like a few years after that, we had moved from heaven to hell, a place called Lancaster, California, out in the middle of the desert. And I was, you know, I was going to college there, and I was working at that time, and I saved some money, and I was going to go on a vacation. I thought, well, I'm going to go back to Hawaii. And I bought a ticket, and I went to Hawaii, and I had a ball. I had a great time visiting some of the old places and everything, and doing this stuff. And it was like, you know, going home again. And so in Hawaii, they have this thing that the public transportation is something called the bus. And you get this token, and you could ride the bus all over the place. And so I had this token, and I was riding the bus, and I was going to go somewhere. I was at the beach, goofing around at the beach or doing something. I was going to go somewhere, I forget where it was. But I was going along, and in the day, I would carry my wallet inside my sock because I didn't want to lose it or anything. I was a little paranoid, and I had that bus pass in my sock as well. And so I was coming up on the bus stop, and I stopped, and I reached down to put to get my wallet out of my sock, and I reached down, and as I did, I looked over, and there, sitting right there, was and he was probably younger than I was, probably a 7 or 8 year old little African American boy, black boy. And he was sitting there looking at me like this. Now, I looked at myself, and I looked down, and I had, for a long time, had the greatest gray boots that you could possibly imagine. And they were suede. Now, I never went, that guy had them. I never even remember that. But I looked down, and I'm reaching in my back, in there. Oh, by the way, I didn't say this to you. I forgot to tell you this part. And I should have brought him in now. But this guy, the only other color that he had on, he had like a rainbow colored backpack on his back. Okay. And so when I looked down, all of a sudden it started to come back to me. It was like the biggest, most powerful deja vu you could possibly imagine. I looked down, and I'm dressed in all gray. I got these gray boots on, and on my back, I still have them. They're in the garage now. I had these things called rainbow stunt kites. If you've ever seen them, they're these beautiful kites that I used to fly, and you go down to the beach and you'd fly them. And I had them on my back that was like that. And I looked at this kid, and all of a sudden I start to tear up. Because it's just like not only a deja vu, I realized something. I had become that guy. Look at me now. My favorite color, guess what it is? I even got gray kicks on now. My favorite color is gray. Now, why do I share that with you? And by the way, guess what I did to that kid? I looked there, and I was feeling like I'm getting ready to cry, but I had no other choice but to go, and then went on about my way. Now, the reason I share that with you is this. The second question that I asked you is, who or what made you who you are? I don't know. See, I was fortunate enough, and by the way, this is magnetism. These things happen in my life, these deja vu kinds of things. You become who you are. That situation created itself. I created it, however you want to look at it. And I'd become that guy. If you've been around me, and my sisters and my family will tell you, my favorite color my whole life has been gray. I had a gray bird. I had a gray car. I had, everything around me was gray. And I never until that moment realized why my favorite color was gray. What is your favorite color? I don't know, but I guarantee you it came from something happened to you. You went, oh, that made you attached to that. Okay, somebody says purple. Yeah, you went to Prince's concert. Okay, yes. Whatever it is, whatever your favorite color is, this is not just your color, your favorite food. Everything that you do in life is a result. The second question of who or what made you do or was significant emotional event. Somebody came along. Stephen said it earlier. You saw your parents and there's something about them that go, I'm going to be like that. You didn't consciously go, I'm going to be like that. But I guarantee you at some point you saw, when you couldn't walk, you saw other people walk and you went, I'm going to be like that. You see, that's the thing that babies have, that you have it as well, but we have dismembered. We've forgotten that it's there. And so having said that, the next, so whatever your favorite color is, it came, you can go back, you can search for it. You don't have to know, but I want you to get that whether it's your favorite color, your favorite food, whatever it is, it came because something, wait for it, influenced you. Something stimulated you that caused you to be aware of something and caused you to go and change your belief about whatever else and change it into a belief that that's my favorite color, or this is that. And that's how you are the way you are right now. Type of 1, if that makes sense. Every single one of them. Every single one of us. Now, having said that, the question is, to all of the questions that Stephen asked, and the thing that Maya said and everything, stop making excuses. How? The short answer is to become the kind of person that you need to be to get what you want. If you wrote down to make $1 million or to lose 50 pounds or to, do whatever, there's a certain type of person that you need to become to do that. Type of one, if that makes sense. Okay? Now, here's the beauty of all of that stuff. Whether it's that, the guy that was dressed in gray, whether it is whomever, whatever happened to you, that was then, now is now. Guess who has the ability to be that now? That person that influences you to be whom you need to be. You. You see, you get to take control of it right now. We're going to give you the tools, the processes. We're going to give you stuff to do. I'm going to give you some stuff to do tonight. And I don't hope, this is a challenge, you freaks. I'm going to challenge you to be part of our family so that we can hold you accountable. I love Kay and Shy, and they will slap you around like you stole something from them, okay? They will. And I promise you, most everybody you don't have people like that in your life. And I want, again, I share my family with you. I'm not here to scare you, but I am here to tell you that that's what we're here for. Why do we do this? Because this is what makes the difference in people's lives. I've been doing this a long, long time. And I can tell you without question, the people that become successful are the people who A, stay in the game, B, do the process by staying in the game, and then C, and part of the process, by the way, is to acknowledge themselves and praise themselves for having done it. That's what helps them go further, faster, and then they teach other people as well. Stephen said it earlier. He said, learn it as though you're going to teach it. Now, I want to add to this. Yes, I'm that way. Learn it as though you're going to teach it. Learn it, then do it, and then teach it. Learn it, do it, and then teach it. Left on our own, most of us will go, I'm going to do it. Type of one, if you have fallen into this category. Ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim. Yeah, all of us, okay? You need to be slapped around on that. You really do, because the truth of the matter is, if there isn't something there to remind you, and I hope you saw this, that it was so, I literally had tears in my eyes, and I text some things to my team as we're doing this. When Maya was speaking, somebody wrote it in there, and when they wrote this down, it was just like it made me tear up. And she said, and whomever wrote it, thank you for writing that. And I took notes. It's right here. It said that you are getting a glimpse at magnificence. A glimpse at magnificence. By seeing that and seeing that, well, you can see that in that young lady there. She's 18 years old. Most of us are older than that. But what you see in her is inside of you as well. Remember earlier I said that babies have something that we have forgotten? You just saw it in her. She's not a baby, but you just saw it in her, and you see it in yourself as well, okay? So, having said that, how do we do this? What is our next step to dominating? And remember the definition. Domination means commitment to, and commitment means not just, okay, I'm going to do it. You freaking do it. Commitment to a process. And so I'm going to take you through a little bit of a process. I'm going to explain the process first and take you through a little bit of a process in doing that so that you get a glimpse at magnificence as well, but not somebody else's magnificence. So you get a glimpse at your own magnificence, and you're going to do something about it. And I'll start off by saying this, that it's not my saying, it's one of my other mentors, Tony Robbins, says that the strongest need within the strongest force in the human psyche is the need to remain consistent with how we describe ourselves. What does that mean? We have a need to live up to the identity that we have given ourselves. It's not a should, it's not a must. I mean, it's not a I'm going to do this, it's a must. However, remember, it's psychology. The psychology is what you think of yourself, other people in the world around you, but always self first, because from that, everything will be filtered from it. If you think that you're a loser, then guess what? Everything that you do is going to be filtered through that. You're going to feel it, and you're not going to perform at your best. And if you think that you're amazing, that you're awesome, that you're great, everything's going to be filtered through that. But it's manufactured. I love what Brandon showed you earlier on. That look on that young man's face, that didn't happen overnight. That was cultivated. That level of what I've been calling certainty inside there. stacks the deck in your favor to get amazing results. That man has an identity, and wearing that belt that says, I'm the champion, that becomes his identity. But here's the great thing. You don't have to have it now to get it in the future. You can cultivate it now inside of you. And that's what this process is going to be about as well. The process is you are going to cultivate it. And remember, it is not overnight. You do this through time. You stay committed to the process. That's how you dominate anything that you want to do. The question that you get to answer tonight is, what kind of person do you need to be? Well, I'm going to give you a glimpse of that here in just a second, but let me share something with you. And that is this. That human beings, whatever we say after I am is what we will become in that moment. If you say, I am tired, then guess what? You're going to be tired. What do we say when we're tired? I'm so tired. Okay. What do we say when we're exhausted? I'm exhausted, you know. What do we say when we're pissed off? I'm pissed off, you know. But watch this. We say that a lot. My first type of one, if this makes sense. But how often, this is a rhetorical question, do you go, I'm excited. I am thrilled. I cannot wait. I am over the top. We do it much less than the others. Matter of fact, most of us hardly ever do. Think about it. When was the last time you said those words to yourself or out loud? I'm so excited. I'm so excited about doing this. I'm energized. I'm amazing. Anything that you say after I am, you will become. Said differently. If you're feeling tired, back of that feeling, remember, it's think, feel, do, is a thought that you're tired. It doesn't mean that you aren't physically tired or you're physically expended or that kind of thing. But here's what I want to let you know. If the state that you're in that moment, which fortifies that or defies it, will determine what the next moment will be in your life. So if you're going, I'm tired, and you go, and this is an opportunity for a step up. And you know what? My body may be tired, but my mind's not. You know what? I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to step up. I'm going to go. Because that is what champions do. That's what they do. Listen, I've had the opportunity of coaching so many professional athletes. And guess what they're thinking at their worst times? If doubt comes in, something comes in, wait a minute, and they have the conversation with themselves, you know what? And this is what's happened before, and I stepped up, you know what? And tired is only a state of mind, and any of the stuff that they say, that's what makes them feel it in that moment. It's think, feel, do, have. Type of one, if this makes sense. You don't believe me? Go look at any champion. I'm going to give you an example. If you've not seen this film, go and see it. And the film is called Michael to the Max. And it is it's a documentary about, you know, arguably the greatest basketball player in the world, in history, Michael Jordan, arguably, because obviously, you know, we've all got our preferences and things like that. But in there, he says two things that are it says and does two things that are so on point with what we're talking about today. He says, now, by the way, just so you know, his history was he didn't even make his junior varsity high school team. But his coach told him, you go home and practice, and if you do, when you come back here, you're going to dominate. So he listened to that coach, and he went home and he did. And he practiced, and he did it over and over again. But what you don't know is that what he practiced was what in his head as well. Hey, there's other documentaries about it that he said inside of his head. My coach said that I can dominate. My coach said that if I do this, I will dominate. So I'm going to do this. That conversation, endorphin, dopamine, epinephrine, all the things that came through him said, yes, this is me. This is who I'm going to. So he said, I am Michael Jordan. And he said this, he says, everybody else shows up at the game. Now, just by the way, he's known for showing up, you know, an hour before practice and then staying an hour afterwards. And he said, everybody else shows up at the game wondering how it's going to work out and hoping that everything's going to work out okay. He says, not me. He says, I show up knowing how it's going to turn out because I've seen it 1,000 times in my head. Freaking powerful. Remember, we learn, as you're going to learn, model from the best. What if you did that? What if you did what I said before, interrupt that pattern and say to yourself, you know what? Let me see it the way that I am. What do I see? I wrote it down on a freaking paper. As I see, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. And then I did this and I did this, and look at it over and over again. That becomes who you are. Type of 1, if that makes sense. That becomes who you are. Let me repeat myself. That becomes who you are. What you say is how you play. What you write is what you invite in. What you say is how you'll play. You will become those words that you say. The other thing that he did, and it was so amazing to watch. The last game, as you know, or may or may not know, Michael Jordan played and then he retired and he came back again. They won so many championships, and he came back as an older man. Everybody else on the court was much younger than him, and he had been out of the game for like a year or two playing baseball or something, and everybody doubted that he could do it. And they beat his ass. The Chicago Bulls, you have to win through the whole season to get to the playoffs. And he fought his way, and everybody was like, every young buck was out there was like going to make a name for themselves by knocking down Michael Jordan. And they did. They beat the hell out of him through the whole thing. And he was not an old man, but he was, old for playing basketball. Until they got to the finals. They got there. And he was definitely going to retire after that. The very last game of his entire career, the very last game he was ever going to play. And don't quote me on the scores or whatever, but they were playing against, oh gosh, maybe help me out. Somebody remember? I don't remember the team they were playing with. With the Chicago Bulls. Oh gosh, it'll come to me here in just a second. I will remember. Somebody will remind me what it is. But the opponent, the opposite team, I think it was the Spurs. Yeah, were down. Yeah, they were down. 3 points. No, they're down 2 points. The opposite team was going to win, and there were seconds left to play. And it was the most amazing thing. And I want you to go back and look at it. You can go on YouTube and you can find that final moment. And I'm going to kind of act it out. And so Michael Jordan, they had double teamed him and they were not allowing him to shoot. It was the 76ers. Somebody said the 76ers. Okay. They were not allowing him to shoot. They were beating him up. They were knocking him down through the whole thing. The other team was seconds away, and the other team had the ball out of bounds. And all they had to do was throw it to their person, and that person, all they had to do was to hold it and dribble it around for, just a few seconds, and they would win. They were 2 points down, okay? And the camera goes away because there's always announcers, right? And the announcers, you're hearing them go, look, and by the way, people were leaving the stadium. It was done. It was over. And the announcers were going, well, he tried his best, and he almost made it, and he almost got there. And they go, look at him. He's a broken man. And Michael Jordan was like this, and he's just dripping sweat, and he's worn out. And then it goes back to them, and they go, well, they're back to them. And all of a sudden you hear, oh my God. And they're looking, and what happened was, now I'm gonna give you the background of it, or the back play of it as well, because what you don't see, they do it on other things. What you don't see is he's sitting there waiting for them to put the ball in, and just before he did, he's like this. He goes, and he got ready. They inbounded the ball. Michael Jordan went and stole the ball from the guy that all he had to do was hold it, dribbled it down court. And 2 defenders got on him, and he faked them out. One of them so bad, go back and watch it, that the guy fell down. And Michael Jordan shoots the 3-point shot, and they win the game by 1 point. It's phenomenal. But here's what I want you to know, because there's mechanics and there's psychology behind it. The mechanics of it. And when they talked to him later, they asked him. Matter of fact, my friend Tony Robbins asked him, what were you thinking in that moment? What were you thinking when you made that 3-point shot from outside? And Michael Jordan said the most beautiful thing he could said. He goes, okay, 1, 2, 3, set, shoot, or whatever they say before they shoot. He just repeated what he says to himself over and over again. Why am I sharing all this stuff with you? Because you have the same ability. Michael Jordan, guess what? He has exactly the same kind of brain as you, exactly the same kind of physical body as you. It may not look like yours, and you may think the different things, but he can program it. And remember this. The best time to plant a tree, 20 years ago. Next best time is right now. No matter what happened to you, no matter all the stuff, the exercise that Stephen took you through, you know, all the traumas and all the things that happened in your past, you know what? You can't change that. You can't change the past. Nobody ever does, but you can change how you feel about it. You can change how often or not you remember. You can change how you describe it in your mind. You can change who you are right now through the words that you speak, the declaration that you have about yourself, but not just once. It's got to be over and over and over again. It's got to be your activity. Remember, I told you yesterday, the difference between action and activity is action. That activity is action repeated over and over again till you surpass your goal. Surpass your goal. You do it enough times that it becomes who you are. Who you are. And so, by the way, throw me up my time I've got left, please, guys. Just text it to me. I get excited and I get yakking and I lose track. How many of you guys can tell I get a little excited about this? Okay. I want this for you. This is not just something that happens. I know we got just this a little bit of time, you know, this time that we have together. What I want is just to be a place in your life that you get to look back 2 years from now and go, holy crap, look at who I am different now. Because no matter what, you're going to be 2 years from now is going to happen. You get to say, I'm different or I'm the same. I encourage you to be even different. Not that you aren't magnificent now. Okay. So having said that, I'm going to teach you a process and then we're going to, got it. Okay. And then we're going to do a process together. Okay. Now remember, let me reiterate, what changes your life quickly is something called a significant emotional event, something that impacts you, a stimulus. Seeing something, hearing something, feeling something, or whatever that causes you to shift your awareness of something and shift your belief about something so that it makes you behave differently. What does that mean? That means something happens and you go, oh, I'm going to do that now because I am this way now. Now, having said that, let me give you a shortcut to answer that question, that last question of what kind of person do you need to be to get the things that you want? And it's a process called modeling. And it is the shortcut to getting anything that you want. It really is. Going further, faster. And that is this. Modeling in its simplest term, I'm going to give you specifics of it. Its simplest term is finding somebody that's already doing it and do what they do. That's it. You can call it copying, whatever. Do what they do, what they did to get where they are. And what that means is if you see somebody, you know, I had the privilege, Brandon and I just got back from Australia and we did Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. And we got to hang out and with, what's his name? Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. And it was really great. So if you look at that guy who's a billionaire, right? And you go, okay, well, I'm going to model that guy. He's successful. He's got a private jet. He's got houses all over the world and everything. Does that mean you should go out and fly in private jets right now? No. Okay, yeah, I said, hi, Lima, you were in Sydney. Okay, yes. No, you don't do what he's doing now. You did what he did when he was in your shoes. This is how you condense time. Let me tell you a really, really quick story. I've got time for this real quick. Do I? Yes, I do. Okay. When I was writing my book, I showed you Unlimited Power. I was writing that, and one of the things is I wrote about, it's in the book, is how the modeling process. Now, the modeling process, I want you to write this down. Let me give you the process of the steps for it. Number one, find somebody that's doing what you do, what you want to do, and model them. Okay, that's step number one. Now, if you're saying, but what I'm doing is unique. Yeah, it may be, but there's somebody doing something close to it that's doing better than you. You find that person, and then you model their, meaning you copy their beliefs first, whatever they believe. I'll tell you how to find that in a minute. Second, you model their physiology, meaning how they use their body. Third, you model the order in which they did things to get there, or that they, you know, the way they do things. And so when I was, some of you know I'm a musician, and I've been playing bass for a long time. I love bass guitar, but I never played guitar. I never played six-string guitar. Specifically, I never played blues guitar, and I love blues guitar. B.B. King was my favorite blues player. And so when I was writing this book, I was writing this thing, so I wanted to have something that I could do, that I could kind of write about. So I decided I'm going to learn how to play guitar. Now you might say, okay, well, Joseph, you've been playing bass for a long time, but it's a different instrument. It really is. Are there some things that transfer? Yes, but for the most part, some of the things that you learn on bass, they actually hinder you in playing guitar. So I went out and I rented, this is 1995, yeah. I rented a VCR, remember those, a video cassette of B.B. King playing with a group called U2. And I was just because I was watching these videos, and in it was this really cool thing. And it was the sound check before the concert that they were doing. And in the sound check, they were talking to B.B. King, and he says these words. He says, I only know 5 chords. Now, first I thought B.B. King only knows, he's been playing his whole life. The only thing he goes, and he says, listen closely, he says, I believe you don't need to have any more than 5 chords to play like I do. He's telling me his belief. And then he says, I only know 3 scales because I believe you only need to know 3 scales. Now I know his beliefs. That's it. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And you can find other people's beliefs on this crazy new thing that the kids are using called the internet. You can find anything that you want about people. And so I heard that and I thought, okay, well, all I got to do is learn 5 chords and 3 scales. I could do that. That's what he believes. And then he says, and by the way, then he goes over and he has this guitar, and the guitar is a Gibson guitar. And he opens the case up and he says, he goes, I have to open her up first because she's sitting in there and I let her breathe. And it was just crazy. It was just silly like that. And he's talking through this whole thing and he opens it up and he says to her, he goes, hello, Lucille. That's the name of his guitar. You ready to do this? He has this conversation with her. And it's this beautiful maroon, ruby, colored Gibson guitar. And then he takes it out and he sits down and he puts if you've ever seen him, because when he was older, he wasn't standing anymore, but he put the guitar between his legs like this. And he sat there and he played a few chords. I can see the chords he's playing. And he played a couple scales. I could see the scales he's playing. And you can go and buy a book and now videos and now on YouTube, I'm seeing him play the scales and the chords. So I know now it's all right there. I know what to do. But then he goes like this. He holds the guitar like this and he tilts his head to the side like this. And you've seen B.B. King kind of sings out of the corner of his mouth, the thrill is gone. And he's just amazing. So what did I do? And it's upstairs. I went out and I bought a Gibson guitar, a Ruby Gibson guitar, okay? And the same type, actually mine's a little bit different, but it's a Gibson guitar. I gave it a name, and mine is called Ruby, by the way. And I gave it a name, and I would do exactly that. First off, I learned those chords just through practicing, and gosh, I can tell you about how to practice with being more effective, make it a significant emotional event. And I learned those scales, right? And I did this for a couple weeks, and I was really good at practicing those scales and those chords. And then I bought this CD, and the CD was of a band playing without the lead guitar on it. And so I was ready to go. And I remember sitting down, turning on the band. I knew the scales, I knew the chords, turning on the band, and it played. And I started to play, and it was stinking awful. It was just terrible. It was gross. It was like what was coming out of it was just awful. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, wait. I did everything right. I have his beliefs. I have his scales. I know what to do. I said hello to Ruby when I opened the thing up. What am I doing wrong? And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, that third piece, physiology. And so what I did was I sat down, I put the guitar, because when I usually, carry the guitar over my shoulder, put it between my lap, and I sat down, I cocked my head to the side like this, and I just started to play. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm a B.B. King or even anywhere close to that, but what came out of my amplifier and what came out of my guitar made me cry. Because it was like it was coming through me. I became something different than what I was. I didn't become B.B. King, but I became something different than what I was. So I condensed years and years of practice and play into a very short amount of time. Type of one, if this makes sense. And the reason I share that with you can do it with anything at all. Anything. Making money, having a better body, you know, creating something, whatever, being a coach. Listen, Maya is an example of it. All I did, she went through the course and I taught her, listen, what's what you do. And the beautiful thing about that young lady is she freaking did it. She did it. And that's all it takes. And so here's what your homework will be. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of homework. Okay. Then we're going to do a little process. Okay. The homework is this. I want you to find somebody to model. The kind of person that you need to be already exists out there. You don't have to guess at it. You don't have to make it up. Find somebody that is either doing what you want or close to doing what you want, something similar, and model that person. And guess what? Some of you are going to find so many people. Choose one. Okay? That's it. And like we said before, simplicity is key. Do that and model them. Find out what they believe. And even if you have to guess at it, your best guess is better than you not doing anything at all. You can watch this person, watch the videos, go online, learn about stuff like, go on, my son calls it YouTube University. Go on and find these things about people. This is the work that other people will not do. And model that person, find out, and even guess at what they're believing, what they must believe. The order that they do things, and model their physiology. You know, when I first started speaking, and I knew this process, by the way, what I would do is I would model my favorite people. And even as a musician, I would model Prince. I would model Martin Luther King. I would model Eddie Murphy, all of those things. You don't have to just do one. And I became who I am as a result. So that second question, which is who or what made you who you are, it's, you know, you can wait for and allow chance to influence you, or you can decide what that influence is going to be. Isn't that beautiful? And so that is your homework. Now I'm going to give you 2 other pieces, or 1 other piece after this. But before we do, here's what I want you to do. I want you to experience you at magnificence, okay? Magnificence. And the way that I'm going to do this is all I want you to do is take a deep breath and put a smile on your face. And I want you to exhale with a moan of absolute ecstasy. Beautiful. I want you to take another deep breath in and exhale and close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, here's what I want you to do. You and I are going to go on a little bit of a journey. First off, we're going to go a journey in the past. Remember, you can't change the past, but you can change how you feel about it. And I want you to go back to a time that you might not remember, but it did happen. And it was a time you woke up one morning and you were unbelievably excited about something. And you were excited because you'd looked forward to this day for a long time. Even though you were really, really little, you had looked forward to this day for an unbelievably long time. And you were excited because this day showed up. And this was the day that you were going to get something. You were going to get a present, or you're going to get something phenomenal, whatever it is. Again, you might not remember exactly that day, but it did happen. But I want you to use your imagination, because your imagination is the strongest tool that you have for creating the life that you want and the future that you want. And you got up and you were really little and you did your best of getting yourself dressed. You know, you put on your little tennis shoes or whatever, your little outfit, and you're all clean and everything, and you were really excited. And you stood by the doorway and you waited. You didn't want to go out there really, too fast, because they had told you, wait your turn, wait till it's time. But you sat there and you waited and you waited and you waited. You're so excited, and allow yourself to be excited now. Even though you might not remember what it is, allow yourself to be unbelievably excited right now. You get to get a gift. You get to get a present. Life's getting ready to be changed. You're getting ready to be influenced. You're getting ready to do something. And you're sitting there and you waited and you waited and you waited, and all of a sudden, boom! The door flung open, and you and about 60 billion other little sperms went for the first race of your life. And you swam and you fought through every freaking obstacle you could possibly imagine. And you were the only one. You were the luckiest, the smartest, the fastest, the only one that got there. And the prize, the gift that you got, was life. Out of 60 billion other opportunities or people that were going to do that, bam, there you were. You're the only one. So you can never, for the rest of your life, think that you're not special, amazing, that you're not unique. You're the only one. Neil deGrasse Tyson says, out of the billions and billions of people that ever, trillions of people, of chances of you becoming who you are, you beat all of those odds. Here you are, right here, right now. And everything that you've done from conception to here right now has influenced your life to be who you are right now. So here's the question. Who are you right now? Who are you? Well, I'm going to tell you who you are right now, and this is going to be your mantra from here on out. At least for the next 10 days, or at least for the next eight days before Kay and Shai step into your world and start to shift things. Here's your mantra. I am magnificent. Say it out loud. I can see you. Say it out loud with your eyes closed. Put a smile on your face and say, I am magnificent. You're the only one. You're the only one. Your thumbprint is like no other thumbprint on the planet. Say it again. Say, with a smile on your face, say, I am magnificent. You don't even have to believe it right now, but those words, remember, anything that comes after I am, you will be. And the more you do it, the more you will be that. And this is just the starting place, ladies and gentlemen. We've only had this little bit of time together, but I'm telling you now, you keep taking those steps further. You keep taking those steps forward. Say it again. Say, I am magnificent. Matter of fact, open your eyes right now and look at me, and I want you to do this. Smile on your face, go like this. I am magnificent. Point to your heart. And now I want you to lean into the camera like I am right now. Lean into the camera and say it. Say, I am magnificent. Throw your hand in the air, reach over and pat yourself on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just experienced right now is a glimpse at magnificence. You are. See, when I said earlier that babies have something that most of us, they know that. Babies come out going, hey, I'm amazing. Somebody bring me something. I need to have some food. These diapers are messy. I need to have some fun. Somebody come entertain me. And guess what happened? The universe showed up and gave it to them. It happened to you. Somebody cared enough about you to love you, feed you, clothe you, did all those things. Why? Because you believed that's what you deserved. And they believed it as well. Now, there's more to that story, but the truth of the matter is you are no different than that person. You just have dismembered it. Now is the time to remember it. And so your homework is really simple. Continue doing the things that I said to you to do before. And I want you to add these two things. Number one, when you wake up in the morning, well, first off, these two things. Number one, I want you to find somebody to model and go through that process that I just said. And then number two, when you wake up every single morning, for the next at least 10 days, ladies and gentlemen, or 8 days before you meet up with Kay and Shai, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and go like this. I don't care if you got the worst hair and slobber dripping down your mouth or whatever because you just woke up. I don't care. Matter of fact, the worse, the better. I want you to look yourself in the eyes and look at me. I want you to go like this. I love you. I am magnificent. That's it. Matter of fact, do it. Do it to me right now. Let me get gallery so I can see all of you beautiful, amazing people. Hang on. And thank you, Brandon. I do have gallery, okay? Lean into the camera, ladies and gentlemen. Smile on your face and say, love you. Do it. And say, I am magnificent. Now, look at you. Type a 1 if that feels good. Even if it just feels good because it's silly. What you're doing when you're doing this process is programming yourself. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, and who am I turning this over to? I think that's it. Am I taking this out?
Well, you can give back to Kay and Shai real quick. We'll take them out for VIP.
I'll do that. Yeah, okay. So last I'm going to say to you is this. First off, a couple things I'm going to say. And by the way, anytime I say lastly, my team knows it's never the last thing, okay? First thing I'm going to say is say thank you. Not just thank you for being here. By the way, we didn't say this. We're almost at 26,000 people that we've fed. The last number I got was 25,930 people that we're feeding as a result of this right here. So give yourselves a hand and thank you for making that possible. Thank you for doing something that we are going to all make a difference in other people's lives that don't have the things that you have. All of us have meals every night. Not everybody does. Now, 25,000 people do. Almost 26,000. So having said that, thank you for being here, and thank you for the gift of your time, your energy, your trust. Thank you for having an open mind about going forward, even if it's scary, even if whatever's going through your mind is like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I hope we provided for you what your next step is, what you can do. And our outcome is very, very simple. We know this, that if we can impact you to make the changes that you want in your life, which we are absolutely confident that we can and will, then you'll do the same for other people as well, even if it's just by how you show up. So thank you. And the second thing I want to do is I want to encourage you to be part of our family. To be part of our family, listen, you only have to give up half of the amount of Starbucks you eat or you drink for the year. The third thing I want to say is this. It's not the last thing, is this. Be the person that you deserve to be. Be that person that the baby knew he or she was back then. What you just went through with your eyes closed, that was real. That's the real deal. You got to have a glimpse at magnificence. You've seen the evidence. You've seen an 18-year-old girl who, like I said, I always think about that. What do you know at 18 years old? She's coaching people in life, and the things that she's coaching, people are getting it. They're going, holy crap, let me give you money for that. And they're listening to her, and she's just getting started. Well, guess who else is just getting started? You. You've made some decisions. You know what to do. And all you got to do, by the way, is just do the exercises. Like Stephen said, there's nothing more you need to do. Just do the exercises and you watch the results. You've gotten some results just doing that silly little thing, standing up and shaking out and that kind of thing. Watch what happens, 10 days from now, years from now, and especially when you're being held accountable. Lastly, I'm going to say this, is that life is always, always, always exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. You have dared to be with us for 3 days, and we don't take that lightly. You have dared to allow yourself to do something different than other people do. And as a result, you get to be something different. And from be, then you get to have. So the trick to life is to continue to dare to be magnificent. When something's scary, you know how to step up to it right now. I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to serving you even more because we got so much more. This is just a little bit of it. So I'm going to turn it back to my amazing, amazing business partners and friends, the lovely Kay and Shai. And I look forward to serving you guys again shortly. And I'll be back with everybody else at VIP.
Let's give it up for Joseph. Oh my goodness. The fire, the inspiration, the wisdom. Our third day of the challenge is over. I hope you are ready to go out and dominate. In fact, if you're feeling on fire and ready to go out and dominate, put dominate in the comments.
Dominate. That's right. We decide. We do, and we dominate. And we remember that when we dominate, it's not about control. It's about commitment to a process. If you need help with commitment to a process, nothing is better for you than the Magnetic Megapreneur program. This has been designed to help you give the right content that you're looking for in a community that's supportive and positive, that allows you to be committed through the end because of the process that you are committed to. So Megapreneur is still available for you. We also we promised you a special surprise for today. And the surprise is one that we're very excited to share and announce with each and every one of you. If you join the Magnetic Megapreneur, you have an opportunity to win a one-on-one coaching session with the man himself. Yes, Joseph, come on. Coaching, one-on-one, live, Zoom with Joseph McClendon III, the world's most renowned neuropsychologist. All you have to do is enroll in the Magnetic Megapreneur program by midnight tonight. If you've already enrolled, you are eligible. If you want to be in this pool, get your chance now. Join us in the Magnetic Megapreneur and get ready to win your coaching session. If you are like, I'm feeling lucky and I know I'm going to win, put I'm the winner in the comments. And if you haven't joined yet, let that be your reminder, your special fuel to get get in and get on the Magnetic Megapreneur train so you can start with us next Tuesday. Look, classes start next Tuesday. You have time to do this and you can create the space. You can be committed to a process. And by the end of October, you will have Magnetic Megapreneur program in your mental software. Plus, you could win that coaching session with the man himself.
Love Valerie said over here in the comments, I'm the double winner because I won by joining already. Isn't that the truth, right? Because you are now going to have access to an incredible program with Joseph, with Shyla and I. And if you've already become a megapreneur, don't worry, you're in it. And if you're considering, now's the time to be all done considering. This is your time to do and dominate. Let's go forward and grow forward together toward the life of your dreams. And I'll tell you, Shyla and I both have had the pleasure of each getting the opportunity to have 1 or 2 coaching sessions with Joseph where he gives you personal advice, and it is life-changing every single time. So for those of you who are already in the program, yay, don't worry, you've secured your spot at potentially winning that free coaching session. If you're wondering whether you should do it, now's your time. Decide, do, and dominate. We've had such an incredible time with you here at the My Moment Challenge because after all, this is your moment. This is your time. There is no other time than there is right now. And if you're wondering, am I where am I supposed to be? The answer is yes, because you wouldn't be there if you weren't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there already. And so you are exactly right where you're supposed to be right now. And it's your chance right now to utilize the information you've learned over the last 3 days, the inspiration that you've gathered to give yourself the rocket fuel that you need to launch yourself into the future. And if you're looking for more accountability, love, community, commitment, and action along the way, we look forward to welcoming you in Magnetic Megapreneur.
Now, the My Moment Challenge sessions are completed, but your homework is not. Do not forget that here on day 3, your neuropsychologist prescribed you with some simple actions to take. Now, if you take these actions and do them consistently, it turns into activity, and that's the secret sauce. Remember, being committed to a process is how we truly dominate. So you're going to find someone to model. You're going to ask yourself and study what they believe and their physiology. How do they behave and how do they hold and carry themselves through the world? Just choose one. The only wrong way to do this homework is not choosing anyone. So find someone to model, look at what they believe, and look at their physiology and their behaviors of what they were doing and behaving and acting when they were where you are now. Not where they are now, but where they were when they were where you are. So that's a part of the process there, modeling someone at the place in the path that you are at as well. And you're going to do your best to approximate around it. Don't get yourself analysis paralysis here. You find the one person, you look at those beliefs and physiology. And then remember, you are magnificent. And it's okay to say it. Say it out loud. Say it proud. Say it consistently, and let that process start to sink into your nervous system, because what you say consistently after the words I am will build the character of who you are stepping into and who you are creating for yourself. So remember, these are your assignments. Don't let their simplicity fool you. This is neuroscience that can help you break through and seize your moment.
That's right. Embrace this proven process. Take it forward into your life to take action, create the change you're looking for, ultimately grow to the level that you're looking for. For those of you who are joining us in our VIP Q&A, we will see you over on that side of things. You should have that link in your inbox if you're joining us in the VIP for the Q&A. If you are still on the fence and like, hey, maybe I can be a part of that VIP, yes, you can still get the recordings and lifetime access to the VIP, but become a part of the Megapreneur program. Come be with us. We can't wait to have you as a part of our Megapreneur community. Remember, there are payment plans available. This full pay best value $897 though goes away so fast, y'all. Like, this is gone tomorrow. So please, please, please be a part of this. We're getting started in just 8 short days. We've loved spending this time with you, this annual challenge. Mark it for this time of year. We will begin to put out announcements about this next next year as well. Remember that if you're in the Magnetic Makerpreneur program, you can win that one-to-one private coaching session with Joseph. There's so many incredible things on the table. At the least to mention your freaking dreams and your future, baby. Come on. So we love you. We appreciate you all. We'll see you in the Magnetic Makerpreneur program. For those of you in VIP, we'll see you over at the Q&A. For everybody else, we love you. Good evening, good night, and thank you for joining us at the My Moment Challenge.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, everybody.